Hey guys, it's Joanne here, and today I'm bringing you another healthy recipe that I have been making since I started my new regime. It is a breakfast option that I am totally loving, and it is sweet potato waffles. So stay tuned. So I found this video while I was searching the internet for recipes to make for sweet potato waffles. I have kind of seen a few recipes on YouTube before, but none of them really kind of fit into my food plan that I have now, which is to remain sugar-free, gluten-free, corn-free, dairy-free. And this recipe pretty much stays right within all of that. I've modified it slightly from the original recipe that I found on the internet. So I will leave all of the measurements and stuff in the description box below. If you have any questions on this recipe, or if I forget to cover something, please make sure you leave a comment. I will respond back to your comment and let you know any particulars if I might have missed it out. So let's get cooking. So first of all, we're gonna start off with some sweet potatoes. These are sweet potatoes that I picked up at my local market. Organic. They are organic sweet potatoes, and you can either use one large sweet potato or two smaller sweet potatoes. In the end, you need to end up with 1 cup total of mashed sweet potatoes. So what we're going to do first is we are going to wash off the sweet potato. I'm just going to use the one big sweet potato. We are going to wash that really good. We're going to wash that potato really good with water. I'm going to take a vegetable scrubber and kind of scrub off the skins really well. And then we are going to prep it for baking. To prep it for baking, we're going to make sure that we wipe it down really well after we've washed it. Then we're going to head over. We're going to preheat the oven to 375 degrees. We're going to take a big piece of aluminum foil, because that's what we're going to wrap up the sweet potato in to bake it in. I'm going to take a little bit of my Trader Joe's unrefined organic coconut oil, probably about a little bit more than a half a teaspoon, and I'm just going to rub it all over until the skin is coated. And any remaining coconut oil that you have left on your hand, just feel free to put it right on your hands and your arms, because it's a really good moisturizer, so it serves two purposes. Okay, the next thing you want to do is you're going to want to take your knife or your fork, and you're going to want to poke a few different holes inside of the sweet potato, and this is mainly to allow some steaming effect to happen as the sweet potato is baking. And I just put 3 knife points inside of my sweet potato. Then we're going to take a little bit of my Himalayan sea salt that I absolutely love, by the way. I have totally converted my whole entire house to using the pink Himalayan sea salt. And I'm just going to put a little bit of that on the outside of the skin. I don't know why, because you don't actually use the skin. And I'm going to take a little bit of pepper, and I'm actually going to put a little bit of pepper on the outside of the skin. I guess it's kind of more of a habit for me, like whenever I'm just using a baked potato, whenever I'm baking a sweet potato in general, I always put salt and pepper on the outside. Then I'm going to wrap it up really good in the aluminum foil, and then we're going to pop it inside of that 375 degree oven, and we are going to cook the crap out of it. I usually like to try to go for, I check it after 55 minutes. I let it go almost a full hour. I see where it is at that point in time after an hour, and if it needs to go a little bit farther, I keep on going a little bit farther. I believe on this particular sweet potato, because it was so big, it literally took almost an hour and 40 minutes to get totally baked. What I have done though is I had pre-baked a sweet potato the night before, and I'm going to show you that now. I'll show you exactly what it looks like when it's been already baked, and it's nice and soft. The skin, you should feel like the skin should be slightly like pulling away from the sweet potato. Then you're just going to slice it in half, and you're going to work on getting that sweet potato meat out of the sweet potato skin and put it in another container. I happen to be using my favorite plastic container that I use for pancakes or for batter mixes, because it has a pouring spout and it also has a handle, so it's really easy to kind of hold on to when you're stirring and mixing things up. But for now, I'm just going to make sure that all of the sweet potato is mashed. You don't have to do much to it, but just at that point in time, you should be able to just mash it up with a spoon and not really have that much effort to it. And this sweet potato that I cooked last night, to perfection. Measured it out. That sweet potato size was exactly a cup mash, which is exactly what I needed for my recipe. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you guys to the other secret ingredient in this sweet potato waffle recipe, which is powdered peanut butter. Now I picked up this powdered peanut butter at my local Wegmans store, and if I can find it online, I will leave a link in the description box below. Basically the recipe basically how to make it first, and since it's powder, is you take 2 tablespoons of the powder to 1 tablespoon of water, and then you mix it all up together. And you wait till it gets to that peanut butter creamy consistency. So what I did was I did this measurement, 2 tablespoons and 1 tablespoon. I did it individually 3 separate times. And I just wanted to show you guys what exactly it looks like as it mixes up, so you can see how it goes from this powdered substance to a creamy peanut butter. Again, I did it 3 times, and it made just under a half a cup of peanut butter. So that is the second part of the recipe. In addition to the sweet potatoes, is a half a cup of the original recipe called for almond butter, but I had this powdered peanut butter. It basically is serving the same purpose, where it's putting additional protein into the sweet potato waffles, in addition to having a good flavor, a good nutty flavor to the waffle. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 eggs, and what you have to do with these eggs is you have to separate them. I don't do anything fancy with it. I don't do a fancy Coke bottle trick or anything like that. I just literally use the shells, and I just separate the yolks from the whites, because we are going to be whipping these whites to a peak, and that is one of the secret ingredients of how these waffles become so fluffy, and so that makes these waffles become so fluffy that you're gonna die when you see these. So I happen to have a KitchenAid blender. You can use a hand mixer if you want. I just started this on medium, the whites, and then speeded it up to as high as it can go. As you can tell, I am playing the video in the background, so I can kind of give you guys the voiceover of how this is going to go. So we are going to we got this whipped up perfect, and I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like. See? That looks amazing. That's how it should be. It should be so that it doesn't even fall off your finger, doesn't even fall off a spoon. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna spatula it all out, I'm gonna put it in a separate container, keep it aside for a minute while I mix up the rest of the ingredients that actually makes the waffle mix. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the cup of pumpkin, Joanne, we're working with sweet potatoes right now. This probably would work with pumpkin, by the way. I am going to take the cup of sweet potatoes. I'm going to take the 3 egg yolks in addition to the almost half a cup of the peanut butter that I have made with the peanut butter powder. And we are going to put it into the mixing bowl, into the mixer, and we're going to mix that on low just so that it's covered. We're also going to add in some pumpkin spice mix. We're going to add a tablespoon. I'm not sure if that's a tablespoon or a teaspoon. I think it's a teaspoon of pumpkin spice mix, a half a teaspoon of baking soda that will help it rise a little bit. And we're also going to put in some vanilla extract. We're going to put in a teaspoon, I believe. I think I'm kind of losing it. A teaspoon or a tablespoon. Again, the recipe will be in the description box below. But we're going to mix that up till everything's all combined. The one thing that I forgot to put in at this point, is I forgot to put in the last ingredient, which is a tablespoon of coconut flour. You could also use regular flour if you don't want to go gluten-free. You could also probably use almond flour, etc. I chose coconut flour because I happen to have that on hand, and you'll see that I pop that in on the end and mix it up after I started putting in the mixing in the whites, the fluffy whites. I happen to have a waffle maker, and I am just going to coat the inside, top and bottom, with coconut oil and make sure that that's getting heated up. And you'll see here that I have the sweet potato mixture, and I'm going to be folding in gently the egg whites. So you just fold them really, really lightly because you want to make sure that you keep them as fluffy and as airy as possible. Yep, and at this point is when I realized that I forgot the coconut flour, and I actually pop in the tablespoon of coconut flour after I was halfway through putting in the whites, but it didn't seem to make any difference at the end. Normally, what I would say to you is put that in while you're mixing the egg yolks and the pumpkin, or I keep on saying pumpkin, egg yolks and the sweet potatoes together. Now what you're going to do is now you're just going to take that mixture, and I have a little quarter cup measuring cup thing, and I just kind of overfill it, and I start putting that into the center of the waffle maker. And I usually do like I kind of dab it in, you'll see, and then I take a little bit more and dab it in. You don't want to overfill it because when the waffle maker closes, it will spread it out to the end. So the first time I did it, I did the side of caution and didn't put as much in, but the second, third, and fourth waffles, by the way, this makes 4+ waffles depending on how big you make them. Mine made exactly 4 waffles, so I take a waffle per serving. And I'm just gonna put these in the center just like I did there. We're gonna put the waffle iron down, flip it around. I have one of those waffle irons that turns upside down. You let it sit there for a couple of minutes. I kind of wait till I see it start steaming, flip it back over, and I take a look at it. See how it's doing. Does it need to be cooked a little bit more? I might pop it back down and let it sit for maybe 60 more seconds. You really just have to kind of watch it as you go. And this is what it looks like when it's done. They are absolutely amazing. I am addicted to these things. The only thing I add on to this at the end is I add a little bit of organic pure maple syrup, 100% pure maple syrup, usually about maybe a teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons. It will be plenty for this. And I also add a little bit, maybe like a half a teaspoon of the Kerry Gold butter, which is the grass-fed butter. Just because everybody always has butter on pancakes and waffles, right? So now we're just gonna take a little bit and we're gonna drizzle the maple syrup over it, and that is it. It's ready to eat. It's ready to go in your belly. This morning I happened to eat it with a little bit of raspberries on top, and also a few strawberries on the side for a little fruit to go with it. So that is it. That is it for my sweet potato waffle recipe. I highly recommend that you guys give this recipe a try. It's fairly simple to do. You don't need to have, I happen to have a KitchenAid blender. You guys don't really necessarily need that. You can just do it all with a hand mixer. You just might have to hand mix the egg whites to get them to come to a peak. It is very low when it comes to, there's like no added sugar in it except for the maple syrup you add on at the end. It's very tasty. You can taste a little bit of the peanut butter. You can taste the sweet potatoes, and also the pumpkin spice mix just really, you know, has little nutmeg, little cinnamon in it. It is just to die for. It made four big size waffles. I used one waffle per serving, and the other three I just put in freezer bags and put them in the freezer, and they can be in easily take it out, put it in the toaster, toast it up, and I can have a quick breakfast that already has a sweet potato in it, it already has my protein in it. All I have to do is add some fruit and I'm ready to go for the day. So that is it for my video today, guys. I hope you like these kind of videos. If you do, please make sure you give it a big thumbs up. If you have any questions on this cooking video, please make sure you leave it in the comments below. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Joanne. Nice to meet you. If you're new, why don't you hit the subscribe button so that you can get notified as to when I upload new videos. And if you want to, you can also hit the notification bell and click email notifications so that you'll be emailed as soon as I upload a new video. You can also follow me on all of my other social media. I am at JoannePlans on Instagram, Snapchat, Periscope, Twitter, Musical.ly, and YouNow. So that is it for me today, guys. You guys be awesome. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm going to chat with you in my next video. Bye, guys.